gonna get some hate for this one, aren't we? Get ready for the jump cuts. Let's just start off this video with one thing in mind. I don't come from a position of privilege. I've never been a rich man or come from a rich background. At the time, my net worth as a 30-something-year-old man was a whopping, great, huge £4,000. That's right. And if you took the student debt into account, it was more like minus £27,000. So, you know, depending on how you look at that, you've got one of those two numbers. About a year ago today, I was completely student debt free. I mean, I completely wiped the student loan company out of my life. Now, before you pipe up and say I'm wrong, my view is it's a personal choice. It is up to you whether you want to pay back your student loan. There's no legal obligation, there's no societal pressure to. It's up to you to decide personally if you wish to pay your student loan back or if you want to continue making the repayments over a long time. Now, both are correct answers either way. I mean, it depends on your circumstances. Like, we'll go through that in a bit, but like, if it makes more financial sense to do it, probably best to do it. If it doesn't, probably best not to do it. But, you know, that's what I'm trying to say here. It's a personal choice and it's completely up to you whether you decide to pay back your student loan or not. This is just a video about why I personally chose to give it back. I'm not recommending that everyone do it. So I'm not kidding when I say this. The overall plan in 2019 was to pay off my student loan and then go traveling in 2020. Well, 1 out of 2 isn't bad. But why pay back your student loan? Why do that incredible feat of paying all that money back and everything? Well, for me personally, I didn't like the system. I feel it's just a graduation tax. On all the graduates that come out, it's just an extra form of taxation upon them. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole education system because that's like an entirely different video. And also, like, there's like this stutter, like this, there's a long period of time from when you actually do your work to your money actually being received by the student loan company, and it's all a bit fragmented. I mean, what I mean by that is you do your work, your boss says, well done, let's pay that man. The payroll company then, you know, tots up your pay and then says, oh, you've gone over the threshold, you're going to have to pay an extra 9% tax in student loan. So they take that away from you. And then they should ship it off to the student loan company, but they also collect all the other student loan payments and then ship them off to the student loan company. Now, this should, in theory, be no more than like a month, give or take, would be really good. But I've heard horror stories from people saying it could take up to like 3 months to 4 months, and some people, like some companies, just didn't even give them to that. And that's a nightmare for someone like me who might work for 3 or 4 different companies throughout the year. It's just like an extra thing to manage, and it's just like, oh. And then you've got all that interest accruing and building up in the background, and I'm sure it all works out in the end and they take payments away and adjust the interest, and I'm sure they do that because I've seen that kind of happen with my statements. But it's still annoying to think, like, I just want it gone. Oh, I see you going to the comments and about to write something really negative, and you know, before you say I haven't done my research, I actually did a lot of research into this, and I did lots of different models. I even, you know, I double checked with Martin Lewis, the video down below, basically his advice, and this would be a Martin Lewis approved plan. So on the one hand, I had this very small student loan of just the tuition fees and the 27,000 plus interest, which was about 31,000 in the end. That's actually not really small, but in comparison to other loans, it's small. You could pay a down payment on a house for that. You could buy a car or something, but anyway, education is priceless. And then on the other hand, I'm lucky enough to be in the high income bracket, so I'm going to get taxed to high heaven on that loan. I have a friend who somehow managed to get out of university with £80,000 to £90,000 worth of debt. Don't know how he did it. We both went to university at the same time and everything like that, but he's racked up this enormous amount of debt. Now, if I had that and that, I probably wouldn't pay it back because it wouldn't be advantageous over the time. You've got to run the models for yourself, but basically, because I had a small loan and a big income, I got rid of my student loan because it was more advantageous in the long run. I was basically making myself sicker to then make myself more healthy, if that makes any sense. You've got to go down to go up, basically, in my mind. That's how I viewed it. You know, you take a back step and then you go 2 steps forward in the future. Starting to see what I'm saying? It is a massive hurdle to pay off all that money and go backwards. But in the future, I think I saved myself 30, 40 grand. So, it's now recouping that money in the future. So you've basically got 2 options with the student loan. You can either pay it off fast and furious style, just absolutely muller that thing as soon as you get it, as soon as you come out, just throw everything against it, or you make the minimum payments over the 30-year period, pay all that extra interest and everything like that, and then it's wiped after 30 years. Currently. As long as legislation doesn't change. So big question time. How did you pay off such a massive chunk of debt? Well, it's the same as running a marathon. You just take it 1 step at a time. So I had a slightly different mindset and an approach to this because of the nature of the student loan. The reason why I say you have to kill it fast and sharp and get rid of it is because the student loan will just keep, and the way it's designed is just keep racking up interest. And just goes on and on and on, and will just keep adding interest and interest and interest until you're unable to get out, and you have to pay that 9% graduate tax forever. And if you've got a small loan like mine, that's a problem because you end up paying the same as the guy who took out £80,000-90,000 in the long run. Each their own. If you can't do something crazy like this, it's okay. So yeah, I shifted my mentality to, I was basically at war with the student loan company. There was that aggressive, there was that much feeling of hatred of, I'm gonna get out of this debt and I no longer want to be suffering 50% taxation. No. I had an absolute hatred for the student loan company. By the way, they are very nice people on the phone. Every time I phoned them, they were very nice people, so I've got to say that. But the actual company and entrapping me in student debt and always taking an extra 9%, so being taxed at 30 or 50% taxation, I was absolutely not. Once I had made this decision, I made this declaration of war with the student loans company, well, I had the upper hand because they didn't know we were at war, okay? So, I don't think they particularly cared either. But this did mean I had the element of surprise. And with that, I had to do something big, something major, something that would strike into the heart of my enemy. I effectively planned my version of DDay. It's a little extreme, I know, to compare it to DDay, but people lost their lives and God bless them and everything. But it was my version of DDay. You had to think about it as a war and an invasion force going in, because once you've sent that money, and if you don't send any reinforcements, they are going to get pushed back with the interest being pushed back into the sea. This is now an all or nothing situation. And that is literally what I did. I prepared my troops. I rallied all my life savings. I had just sold my van, so I got all the money from that, all my house deposit money, everything gathered together, and I sent £11,000 towards this debt and the beaches and the landing and the going to war with the student loan company, and boom! Big old dent, a third of it gone, wiped out in a day. And I felt very pleased, very satisfied on that day. And then the next day, I was so anxious. I was just anxiety driven. I was just was this a stupid maneuver? I have literally sent every penny, everything I had has gone to this loan, and there's 20,000 still left building and accruing interest. It's coming back. It's my invasion force. Every day I don't pay it, my invasion force is getting pushed back into the water and having to retreat. I was just absolutely just panicking on that day. And then I was just like, no, we are going to win this. We've had a successful landing, we've kicked out a third of it, and now we're going to kick out the other 2/3 of it, and we're going to win this, damn it. I didn't even have a date in mind to get rid of it. I didn't have like, oh yeah, in a year's time, or in 5 years' time, or, you know, I'll pay it gradually over 10. I wanted it gone. Like, you have never seen a man more furious and like working so hard for an achievement. Just like, oh, I just needed it gone and everything out of my life. Not only did I work my way out of debt, but I also went to the local library. You can see that this is definitely a library book, and I got out books like this, like Managing Your Debt. I did the very obvious things of like lowering expenditure, increasing income, and, you know, saying no to things, and, you know, prioritizing paying off the debt over all else. I also considered taking out a personal loan. I was like, do I just take out a £20,000 loan and then throw that at the debt, and then the student loan company is gone and completely out of my life? One thing about personal loan is if things go bad or in the thing, you're going to have to remake those payments every month, where the student loan is more flexible, and if things go bad you don't have to pay back as much. So I decided to not do that, even though that would have been a great way of just knocking the student loan company out of my life forever. The option I took was basically reinforcing my invasion force with just more troops, more income, anything extra gone straight there, just everything. I basically worked as hard as, you know, Rosie the Riveter, and just rolled up my sleeves and got to work. So from Monday to Friday I did my 9 to 5. And, you know, if they had any spare overtime, I would do that gladly. If they needed someone to work that weekend, I would happily put my hand up and get the extra money. And, yeah, just absolutely gain income that way. That was like the main branch of it. Just absolutely working super hard at my normal career job. So any money from any passive income revenue streams, just sending it over. Just, I mean, including things like Christmas money. When I got Christmas money from relatives, that went straight to the debt. Like, I was just so possessed and getting out. Then I continued doing my side hustles, which was like, you know, mowing people's lawns, plastering walls, you know, doing all that kind of stuff, and just working like for on the weekends, and any money I earned from that, straight to the debt. I also continued to be on the books of some extra companies, you know, the people that like walk in the background. I think they're officially called like supporting artists, and, you know, they're just like ba 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 ba, or just that type of things. I'll see if I can find someone on YouTube and be like, yeah, that's me. And so any money from that, shoom, straight at this debt. So I was working so hard in my 9 to 5 that I actually got promoted during this period that I was paying off the debt, and so any extra money that came in, I just basically took it and threw it at the debt, and like just didn't even look at it, see it, didn't get any lifestyle creep and, you know, think, oh, I'm on this money now, I'm going to buy this kind of car. I just took that money to the debt. And that's a very good segue, because I kept my expenses low. So if I went out to the pub, for example, I would have like a pint and then a Coke, and then I would enjoy the evening with my friends, have a laugh, get in the car and drive home. So that would save on like an Uber, getting sloshed, and then waking up the next day feeling rough. I was out mowing lawns, plastering walls, being an extra, and thousands of pounds a month was saved and earned and just thrown towards the debt. And that's why I got out so fast, is because I was so dedicated. Like, this was like the #1 priority in my life at that time, because I did not want to lose this war, this mental war I had in my mind. I was just like, we are not going to lose this, and every £1,000 that went in, it was an inch closer. Every £50 that went in, it was an inch closer to becoming debt free. And, you know, just then 7 months later of working very hard every day, low expenditure, and sending thousands and thousands of pounds off to get out of debt, I could smell that 9% pay rise. I was almost debt free. I could see it. We were surrounded the capital of the student loan company. We were about to take the hill. We were going in, and I could see it was going to be my last and final payment. And I phoned him up. I asked him to surrender. No, I didn't. I phoned him up and just said, "Hey, good game, all that. Can you just confirm what my final balance is? Is it actually this?" And he went, "No." They had one final bullet to pull. One final little bullet. And that was, I'd have to pay the interest for the last 7 months. And I was like, no! I said, alright, how much is that going to be? Like, what's the damage here? Like, how much are we talking about? I'll never forget it. I was expecting this, like, big old total, because I remember it clear as day now. He said it's going to be an extra £313.16. I said, thank you very much, Trevor. Wonderful stuff. I can do that. Boom. Put down the phone. Where was I going to get this extra £313.16 from? And I decided, we surrounded them. I'm not paying another pound of interest. That is it. That's my grand total now. That is it. So I gathered everything. I even used my Christmas money just to get rid of this and just be like, I'll celebrate. I'll buy myself something nice in the new year. Like, for now, this money needs to go to the final siege. And on the 18th of December 2019, I paid my last and final overpayment to the student loans company. And it was a weird feeling, because not only had I won, but my account was reading minus £313.16. So technically they owed me money. So like the whole thing had just collapsed, and like now they were owing me money. So that was a weird feeling. And then in January the clock ticked over, and then they added their interest, and boom, debt free. I was debt free, and I knew it was official because HMRC had sent my employer a letter that I still have somewhere today that says, do not charge this person any more student loan payments. And I was like, boom. My 9% pay rise started at the beginning of last year, and it was beautiful to have that money coming in. And obviously at the end of the tax year in April, I was going in debt free. So when they asked on your self-employment checker thing, do you have a student loan? Not anymore. Boom. And yeah, that was brilliant, because then my tax from my self-employed and passive income and all that stuff was also 9% more for me and not the student loan company. So immediately saw a bounce after paying off all that money. There was an immediate bounce within 6 months. Looking back over the past year of the topsy-turvy dumpster fire of a year 2020, do I regret paying off my student loan? So yeah, I'm going to be honest, I do regret the amount of work I did in 2019, because it meant sacrificing time with my friends and my family, which we all know nowadays is very, very crucial and such a rare pleasure if you can actually meet up with them. But I feel it was also a good decision, because if I tried to do that this year, there's no way you could go around someone's house and mow the lawn or plaster their wall willy-nilly, and you just I'm not sure how you can function as a handyman now without risking spreading COVID to multiple houses. Kind of a 50-50, and obviously the extra stuff has kind of collapsed with the film industry going down, and they're probably having one, maybe two extras, and not having large crowd scenes anymore. What would I have done with that £30,000? It's always a very interesting question, isn't it? I don't know. The actual physical monetary thing, do I actually regret paying that back? Well, that is a car. That is a good house down payment, right? But also you gotta remember is, while your wage is being garnished, That's like less money that can go towards a house or a car payment or investing in your future for retirement. So it's very swings and roundabouts, and that's why I'm saying like it's a personal choice. There's just so many avenues that you can go down. Like, I want to go back to go forward. I'm very glad I didn't transfer it to a personal loan because, well, being able to control the interest would be very lovely. During the pandemic, having to make those repayments of, I guess they would have been about £500 to £400 a month, would absolutely suck, especially in the times of the uncertainty and, you know, being furloughed and all that malarkey. Now, should everyone pay off their student loans? I think I covered this in detail. No, it's up to you. It's personal. It's a personal choice whether you want to do it or not. There's no problem going to someone with like a financial background like me or someone else and running you through the models and, you know, what you're going to pay versus what you're not going to pay. Seeing those choices laid out for you and making the appropriate decision is best, because I don't want you just to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to throw £11,000 at something and then 5 years later that's all been swallowed up, because you would have lost like £11,000. And please don't do that. Please, if you're going to do this, do it hard and do it fast and just get rid of it. I would probably encourage people with small debts, you know, £14,000 or less. Maybe you went to university and it wasn't for you, or you just didn't like it, or you chose a different path in life and you decided to, you know, go a different way. But you're left with that student loan. I would definitely recommend looking at paying that off, because that is going to haunt you and that is going to be dragging, and you're going to be paying a lot more in the interest that's being accrued than you are going to actually if you just take the hit and pay it off. And yeah, obviously, if you're never going to earn over the threshold, why bother paying it back off? Because you're never going to pay any repayments anyway. In all honesty, why would you bother going to university if you were never going to earn over £24,000? That's a question for another video, but like fundamentally, and I keep stressing this time and time again, it is a personal choice. I mean, it's how you feel about your debt, whether you're one of these people who don't like owing people money or anything money. You want to be totally clean and free. Like I feel so good that I do not have this burden anymore, and I'm getting a 9% pay rise. Do you know what you have to do to get a 9% pay rise nowadays? Well, yeah, pay off £30,000 worth of debt, but like actually in your job, like if someone said to you, oh, I'm going to give you a 9% pay rise if you do this, you would be like, actually, that's a good chunk of money. But don't get me wrong, the law could absolutely change and the wind could shift, and I could be ending up feeling like a little bit of a wally, because they could just say, oh, you know what, we're going to get rid of all these student loans, no one has to pay anything back, and all the debt is forgiven. Based on experience, and well, I'm going to show my age off here. I remember back in the day when they changed it to £1,000, and then it was £3,000, and then it went up to £9,000. So I'm gonna guess that it's not gonna go anywhere fast. It may decrease in size, but I don't think they're gonna pay off, or I don't believe at this point in time, especially when they need all the taxation they can get, that they're going to remove student loans or forgive them. I mean, it's up to you. If you feel the UK government's going to turn around and just suddenly become Bernie Sanders and just forgive all the student loan debt, well, that's fine. That's your opinion. But you got to remember, they've got all that bloody coronavirus debt on the books. Like, that is, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm not a politician. I didn't study politics. I studied business with management, and was much more better at the financials. And that is why, after going through all the models, I thought I'm going to take one step back to take 2 steps forward. And that was my personal choice, and that's where I'm going to live it, because I think I've said personal choice so much now that I think if you start a drinking game and the word was personal choice, you would probably be very drunk by now. I'm not really sure how to end this video. I mean, normally I put like an outtake or something at the end, something funny or something, but I don't really have any of those. So I guess for the next 20 seconds I'm going to be waving goodbye to the student loan company whilst talking over the outro music and just wishing you all a very good day and thank you for watching. I've still got 10 seconds left here, so bye student loan company. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Bye. Bye everybody, have a great day and thank you for watching. Goodbye.